Today is May 11th, 2025. Today's Mother's Day. My son Josh, he texts me Happy Mother's Day. See, in my heart as a mother, that where Dave said, Karen, realize I'll kill everything you ever loved in life. Realize I'll kill it. It's over my dead body. You want me, you can have me. And even though I knew the police and the FBI were involved, I went around taping my own witnesses, figuring I didn't think I'd make it out and that I would die. But at least they'd have enough evidence to get them. Enough evidence. And my children would live. I literally laid my life down. Literally laid my life down. And almost died trying to get these people caught. So as a mother, thinking that John and Josh were involved with the Florida drug cartel, it is documented by the police in Karen Around the House, Karen's will, that I was framed and it was a drug cartel in my home before. Okay? The Florida drug cartel. Now, to think that my children, my older two, were involved with Dave and the Florida drug cartel for his drug addict girlfriend, having their mother drugged for fake confessions, beat and raped. Beat and raped. For the entertainment of Dave's drug addict girlfriend and almost murdered. Do I believe my children were involved? No. And the heartbreaking of people saying that they were involved the whole time, the two older ones. My heart clenched, my stomach clenched. I almost died to save them, where Dave's threatening to kill him. It's like, oh, hell no. And that they were involved in even framing my youngest for the shower scene in the other room. And they didn't know about it. Not even a little bit. They didn't know about Pete. They didn't know about button cameras. They were not part of them taping children going potty and selling it on the internet. They were not part of having their mother drugged for fake confession, lying that you had sodium pentothal reports, taking it for me to take a drink out of a drink or wake up with an injection mark, bruises all over me, throwing up, and severely infected. They were not part of human trafficking their own mother for their dad's new drug addict girlfriend. And for him to get everything. I have a hard time. But if they were, put them in jail. Put them in jail because they're not my children. See, Josh, his second wife, Allison, she was evil when it came to Josh. She wanted everything. And she wanted him punished for leaving her because she was so mean to him. She told the judge and the judge out there that Josh would sleep rape Flora. My God. She took Flora to the hospital at 2. Okay? We didn't know till we got the hospital bill. Nobody ever came talk to us. She told the hospital that Josh turned her upside down, beat her, had bruises all over him. She looked like a fool. She looked like a fool. Hospital documented there was no marks on that whole baby, but a little tiny mark, 1/4 inch, around where her shoe rubbed. Mother says there's bruises. Mother says this. Mother says that. And there's nothing. She looks stupid. We had to have a guardian ad litem come interview everyone. Okay? They even told people my house was attached to a bar. I lived on a 2-lot. Individual house. I own 2 lots. Now I want you to think of that. She lied, and guess what happened? Josh got guardianship of Flora. And she has to pay him alimony. Okay? Because she lied. You know, and Josh, she kept pulling him back in the court. He's like, when is this going to become a hate crime? She's so evil. Okay? And when it came to John, Melissa wanted him punished for him divorcing her. Okay? She came in his house uninvited. They were already separated. Okay? Going through a divorce. He comes out of the bathroom. She lunges at him. He pushes her. She laughed at him and said, now I got you. Called the police, had him arrested for domestic violence. He lost his kids. Had to fight for him. Couldn't even see him because she set him up. He tried to get me to watch him in 19. But I was working at a bank. And I couldn't. I didn't get off till like 5. And I couldn't leave one job and not go. I was working 2 jobs. And he was upset because I couldn't help him. But I was barely making it. Okay? Now, he went ahead and moved to Florida. He's remarried. Okay? He's made up being an electrician. He internshiped in college for Ohio Edison. He can run lines on those big 300-foot towers. He's been a college professor. He's been a manager of businesses. He makes over $150,000 a year for about 15 years. Okay? Melissa's an electrician too, but she does the where she goes in and inspects, and then does where new buildings where they are to put electric, and she does the diagrams for it. She has a college degree too. She makes big money. Okay? And then she gets child support from John. All right? Now, the whole thought that Josh or John would, for Dave's drug addict girlfriend, would have me almost killed. For Dave's girlfriend, drug addict girlfriend, would have me drugged for fake confessions. We moved up there. I'd take a drink out of a drink, and the room would go dizzy and black. Wake up with bruises all over me, throwing up, infected. And the well water was orange, and I thought just showering in it. I brought in bottled water to cook and drink, but you have to shower. You have to wash your hands after you use the bathroom. We got a water treatment system. It had high levels of iron in it. Okay? That's what was making it orange. Okay? I thought it was giving me cancer. And I'd wake up with injection marks, look like injection marks, orange, lemon, grapefruit-sized bruises all over me, severely infected until my personal areas pushed open and down, and I would scream when I peed. Went to the doctor. What on earth is wrong with me? Okay? Did you fall? No, I got all these bruises all over me. I've been throwing up. I've been almost passing out. Okay? Lost 18 pounds before I called FBI. Take a drink out of a drink in the room and go dizzy and black. Hours later, come out of it. What's wrong with me? And I'm almost passing out and the world's spinning. Throwing up. Severely infected, thinking the well water is giving me cancer, just washing in it. And here, sexual predators are breaking in, stabbing me with date rape drugs, telling me to say stuff, and beat and raping me under drugs. To think my children were part of, for Dave's drug addict girlfriend, to have me drug beat and raped? and human trafficked out of that house. It's documented and verified by the police officer, Mark. Now, it's documented and verified she was framed before, and it was the drug cartel in her home before. We seen them. Drug cartel. Actually, the Florida drug cartel. Okay? Florida. They break at Faith Family Church. I was talking to Tess. I said, do you remember years ago when I started there in 19? That men showed up, said they were from Florida. And she said, I remember seeing them. They worked for Judge Peters, yes. And they were hurting me before, yes. She said, Karen, this thing blew up so big, it took them a long time to get control over this. Long time. Now, the drug cartel bragged. In 18, a little old white man came up to me. I woke up with another giant bruise on my leg, throwing up sick that day. In front of the cops and the feds at Walmart 62, for every idle word you tell on us, I'll turn it on you. Try to leave Dave, I'll list your child molester. You know that bruise on your leg? I use sodium pentothal on you. No, he struck me with a date rape drug. He said, you know what, you told me you were wearing this one nightgown. You bent over him probably once. They accidentally seen your butt and you had a life of pain because of it. Tried to leave Dave and he threatened me again. What he meant to? He was drugging me out for Dave. Drugging me out for Dave. This was their backup plan. People would more men would show up where you had bruises before throwing up, and in fact, it wasn't the well water, it was us. We were drug beat and raping you. We had drugged you and told you to say this. We had drugged you and told you to say that. We photoshopped all our lies. We erased Chris out of the room, and by January 19, it was a feminine wipey above the toilet to make you look weird. In May of 21, May 25th, 21, 6 p.m. and Wendy's Louisville, of the church people breaking in before, drugging me, telling me to say word on molester stuff. That's not funny. The church people did that. Memorial Day weekend 21, there was a heavy-set Michelle and Lauren showed up on Fairlawn Street. I was sitting out at a client's house. I seen her drive by. She's yelling at the cartel. Are you crazy? You can't enter a drug confession. Well, we just found out they drugged her and told her what to say before. Bullshit. They admitted it in 18. They were drugging me and telling me to say stuff. Okay? 8/9/21, the apartment building forming second close to the fence. A lady and her little girls ratted out Dave being part of it. 4 or 5 neighbors did a police report. 12/95, Fairlawn, little apartment, little white lady screamed up, talked to several people in 21. November 1st to 3rd of 21, Save a Lot, African-American lady, she found out they made everything up on me. December 9, 21, 4 p.m., at the Oakland apartment on Cleveland Avenue. They told him all the tapes before were them and not her, and it's just a bunch of men doing crimes down here to see if someone will stop them. Same day, white man bald with dark eyes distributing food at the Starr County Hunger Task Force on 9th Street. Was one of my guards. Okay, there was a guy working there. Okay, white man bald with dark eyes. Walked out. There's only 4 or 5 volunteers. Okay, walks out, and we always knew the tapes before were them and not her, so we never said a word. By Christmas of 21, there was investigators in there. They said, we're mad that guy knew they did all this to her and didn't say a word. And some guy named Eric trying to help him get away with it, and we don't know who he is yet. Okay, January 19th, 22, Department of Disability. Okay, they told them I was drugged and told to say it before. February 2nd, 22, Burlington Coat Factory, a Latino man admitted he drugged me first and told me to say it. They send their hate crime out through cell phones. We go in and Save a Lot. People's phones are going off. They're running, screaming, oh my goodness, they admitted they're drugging her and telling her to say it before. Back on 6th Street in Canton, this guy in a brown house ran out and yelled at a postman. Postman's like, we all heard it. Okay? A guy from, investigator from Ravenna in a black Sebring pulled up. Said, I seen her out today. I found out that bastard really did drug her and tell her to say it before. Okay? March 24, 22, 1130 on the streets of Louisville, down the way. Little old white man screaming at big drug dealer. You framed her before? Yeah, we framed her before. Shame on you. I know. I wish we wouldn't have done it. Those people even raped her. Okay. March 1st to 3rd of 21, they said they put 2 clips together, put her in a porn. It's not her, it's them. March 13, 21, the nurse at Mercy Medical, they told her the only thing they had me on was simply wiping off water with clothes on. The guy said, that's sick. Said, no, it's actually funny. She said, only simply brushed it off. They didn't have anything else. It's actually really funny. Okay? Then later on, they started saying, you touch yourself, expose yourself. You touch yourself, look weird. Well, that's not brushing off water with clothes on. Made my stomach bleed. It's like, what else did you do to me? And then I thought, well, they put my head on somebody else's body. Okay? And then I got to thinking, what would you be doing? It sounds like you undressed. Now you could be putting yeast infection cream on. Because if you touch yourself, expose yourself, you're undressing. You touch yourself, look weird, but not weird. What are you doing? You'd be putting yeast infection cream on? Or did you get undressed and get in the shower and you're washing yourself? Showering, right? Walked outside, smoked, she figured out what they did. May 12th, 22 at noon, they found a tape of them emitting a shower scene in the other room. May 26th, 22 at noon, the shower scene was done on purpose. My client's neighbor on Shepler Church Road in Navarre, they told her in February or March of 22 that Pete ordered everything to be drugged, photoshopped, and made up on me. She told the Canton FBI. 22. November 18th, 22. Walmart 62. A guy comes in. I'm getting my hair done. The hair salon screams out, all the tapes before were me and not her. It was my idea to come up with it. My idea to do it. My idea to say it. For all these people turn on and they fell for it. Well, if it was only you, I could take care of it. I know it's that bad and I still fell for it. Christmas Eve of 22, I go to Danny and Jen. I said, did you know where they kicked in the door on the 6th day? Well, we were at the storage unit. Someone kicked my door into the wall. Yeah. I said, Dave said it was a realtor passing out. Keys don't report it. Yes. Did you know about button cameras stalking me? Cyber stalking and legal monitoring is 7 to 15 years. Put your name on it, I dare you. Okay? I said, did you know about button cameras stalking me? She's like, no. I said, did you know about a shower scene in the other room to make me look weird? No. I said, do you remember the orange, lemon, and grapefruit-sized bruises all over me? All over me. And I almost passed out in front of the neighbor by the second week. Yes. It kept happening. And I kept throwing up and I had bruises and almost passing out in front of people. I remember that. I said, did you know they were drugging me and telling me to say weirdo molester stuff? No. And were beating on me? No. Karen, I thought you were working too hard and bruising too easy. Kids came out of the room, hugged me. Grandma, is that what was going on? We didn't know. Even the cartel showed up in Louisville the day after Christmas of 22. We wish we would have asked her kids years ago. They didn't know. November 13th, 22, at 6 o'clock in the evening, I stopped by Danny and Jen's. And I was talking to him. I said, I got people making up weirdo molester stuff on me. She's like, boy, they would be lying. They ever said you did anything wrong. I said, well, I call them the Pinocchio group. The liar, liar, pants on fire call. She said, anybody said you did anything wrong, their pants would burst into flames. As if, Karen. She said, I got people lying on me at work. She's like, don't they know what you do for a living? You can't even have an accusation. Okay. Because I called the FBI. These dumb idiots, these morons that did this to me, including my ex-husband, thought they fooled the FBI. Where the FBI called these people dumb, and you would not believe how dumb they are. The word dumb. She calls the FBI hotline, and they walk immediately into an FBI office and confess they were illegally monitoring her and knew she called FBI. And, okay, trust me, nobody ever fell for the dirty doctor scam of taping you unaware before confessing your crimes and sat on it till Dave wanted a divorce. And it sounded mechanical. We knew it was them and not you. And nobody fell for the weird with yourself. We knew it was photoshopped or washing yourself in the shower. And they photoshopped it. And they photoshopped everything. But if they were going to be that dumb to try this with us, we told Agent John to go tell that church. That she called the FBI hotline and to act as dumb as these people that are doing this. And they had announced on April 19th, 25, in Hartville Flea Market, they had Michelle confessing outside sheets on the 17th under police surveillance that she was part of trying to kill me when they bashed in my head. And that doctor that they were using was not one of mine, but worked for them. And they had lied. And that's why I didn't know who they were, who he was. That he actually works for them, and they lied. And they have her under police surveillance that doctor is not one of mine, but worked for them. And they had lied. And that she had tried to have me killed. And she was part of bashing my head in. Okay? Well, the surveillance laws. And it's right on Google. Doctors cannot tape you unaware. They go to jail. You have HIPAA and Privacy Acts. They are not allowed to disclose what they see you for. What they treated you for and what you said to them. Without your signed consent. Okay? They go to jail, HIPAA. We all know that. 1 to 5 years, and you can sue them for $1 million. First and last name. First and last name. Half my medical records, it is documented, is Dave's girlfriend from before me. March 27th, 25, an agent was dating Michelle underneath a rouge to get her to confess that she was part of bashing my head in. And they tried to kill me or leave me incompetent, and it didn't work. And the reason I don't know who that doctor is, he works for them. And they had lied. He was one of my doctors. Then I don't even know who he is. Where I told him I didn't know. He's not one of my doctors. He works for them. They just lie. And Dave was telling people he was forced to marry me. Got it out of Dave that a girlfriend from before me had him marry me so he could get a job at my dad's factory and she could have free insurance. And he could give her extra money. He made $80 a week working for John Cowgill, and he made $1,000 working at my dad's factory. My dad would have never hired him. My whole marriage was a scam. Okay, now, he even told another person on the 31st outside my clients in Hartville that that doctor was never one of hers. They had lied. He works for them. The cartel admitted April 3rd and 25 outside Dutch Valley restaurant. There was a heavyset white woman walked out ahead of me and Carl and was telling a guy that they had been told on for that doctor not being mine but works for them and that they had lied and it's all ruined. Okay? April 24th, 25, up in Summit Mall. My brother walks into an eyeglass place. There's a guy off the mall. You tell that guy, Will, for the scam he was pull off here, that it's all, to join us, that it's all ruined. That Michelle had told on him that that doctor was not one of hers, but works for them, and they had lied. And the whole scam's ruined. You tell him to take care of her. Okay? Then, told you the FBI showed up April 19th, 25, announced. They never fell for it. The surveillance laws is doctors are never allowed to tape you unaware. It's like Nixon bugging office. It's not admissible because of the right to privacy. They go to jail for breaking your rights. HIPAA 1 to 5. Okay? They are not allowed to ask you dirty sexual criminal questions. They are there for medical. That's sexual harassment. If they know somebody's being harmed, they have to give a small tip to the police. There may be a situation here. Can't tell them how they know. But give them a tip to the police. You need to look into this. If they do not, they lose their license forever. And they go to jail as an accessory. Like they said, these people did not know the thought of putting the word doctor on it. Doctor. How illegal it would be. The doctor would go to jail regardless. And it still wouldn't be admissible. Okay? Well, you got to think. They walk into an FBI office, they're illegally monitoring me. They have no right in my home. Dave told people he hired Pete on his own. It was Pete and his men. Where Dixie was telling Jen on April 6th, 25, she walks like 7 feet away from me. Nobody thinks it's funny she married that old man. It's like, excuse me? Some lady investigator said she could extort all kinds of money out of the government. You can never even try to extort money out of the government. Even the attempt is 20 years. You try to extort money out of individuals, 5. You can never extort money. Okay? Never. Not even try. And Jen's like, we want nothing to do with this. Okay? And she said, well, Melissa said the group of people they hired to watch her before, the chief of police gives special permission. There's no such thing. Like the Portage County Sheriffs, we had no knowledge of what these people are saying they did, and what they said they did is illegal. We weren't in your home, and nor did we have knowledge of anybody being in your home before. That's illegal. So who wants to say they did something illegal? And I said, it's the 4th Amendment. Yes. So I can sue you for that. You said you were part of the people drug beating, raping me, and you caused injuries, and I can own you. They even told people she will own these people. Oh, and you're going to spend the rest of your life in jail. We're going to put it that way. They went after the drug cartel that they hired to do this. They went after the cartel and left the riffraff in place. Riffraff, you want to go to jail? The guy in my old apartment, where it's like 2 apartments down, he can't quit bragging that he fooled that agent. And he thinks everybody in Louisville is a bunch of dumbass hicks that don't even have an education in their head. He thinks he can fool everybody. But he's got the word Jesus on the back of his truck. Because he's got the word Jesus on the back of his truck. He could be a criminal. He ought to have the word Satan. I hate when people use the name of God to harm and kill people. Those erratic Muslim people use the name of their God to kill other people. And I hate when people use the name of Jesus to kill and rape and destroy people. It's blasphemy. He can't shut his mouth. How he was in that office with that agent when they were trying to defraud him. And he thinks he can fool everyone in Louisville. And he thinks he can fool the cops, and the cops will put me in jail for their scam. He's that stupid. We're the FBI on April 19th. You wouldn't believe how dumb these people are. She called the FBI hotline. They immediately walked into the FBI office and admitted they were illegally monitoring her. We're the Portage County Sheriffs. What these people are saying they did is illegal. We had no knowledge of it. And it was none of our officers in your home or anybody else's home outside a protected custody case with statements. At 1:45. And it's illegal what these people are saying they did. I told them about having bruises, throwing up. They are supposed to have drug confessions of weirdo stuff. That's illegal. They're supposed to have a shower scene in the other room. I'm washing myself to make me look weird. That's illegal. I said, you can't even look or listen because it's the Fourth Amendment. Yes. Prosecutor's office. It's a fraud scheme. They did the biggest mistake. They did it in your home. Well, you did another big mistake. You put the word doctor on it. No doctor can tape you unaware. Like they said, these people did not realize putting the word doctor on it made it totally illegal, and the doctor would go to jail no matter what. And it still wouldn't be admissible. Where the FBI on April 1925 in Hartville Flea Market, you wouldn't believe how dumb these people are. Walking into an FBI office, confessing they're illegally monitoring her on their own, and that they already knew she called the FBI. And trust me, nobody fell for the dirty doctor scam of a doctor taping you unaware, confessing of crimes. Oh, I've heard that statement that they're supposed to drug me and told me to say. It's filthy. Filthy. I used to make me vomit. I mean, literally run for the bathroom and vomit the thought that drug cartel played with me like that. You know, if a doctor would have asked me a dirty criminal question, I would have screamed at him, "Who do you think you are, you sicko and pervert? And I'm reporting you." And that doctor would have lost his license for sexual harassment and misconduct. See, that's where the whole thing of it is. They're not criminal investigators. You all have been watching TV too much. Okay. And then it sounded mechanical. Well, they had a voice alternator. You can get it on Google Play. You can get it on Amazon, any kind of techie store. You copy someone's voice, you talk through it, you sound like it, but it's a little off. They copied that agent's voice. We're all Karen's Will. Karen's only to hear Will's voice when she's out. Start the voice alternator. And they all sounded like it. All. That's where the FBI called it mechanical. That or they digitally altered it. Where the police said we always knew they drugged her and told her to say it before. Nobody fell for it. We all knew none of Karen's doctors could go talk to Will. We were wondering what these people were up to. They thought you guys were a bunch of backwood hicks and some Barney Fife that were keeping a bullet in your pocket, that you're so dumb you didn't know any laws. And they thought the cartel could pull a fast one on the police and the FBI and that they were dumb. And that they'd fall for a scam from the drug cartel. That's what was going on. They thought they were stupid. Lighthouse Tabernacle made fun of the FBI. June 7th, FBI agent John fell for the stunt at Taste before. Oh, come on now, that FBI agent fell for that? It was only a stunt. You're kidding me? John actually fell for that? You mean FBI agent John fell for a stunt at Taste before that were only a stunt? Like the Stark County Sheriffs about this time last year at Faith Family Church? We all know they made fun of that Agent John for falling for this, and the whole thing's a mess. They dared the FBI July 9th, 23 in Trinity Gospel. The FBI wouldn't dare fix this after what one of their agents did. They dared them. I thought there'd be SWAT teams, hailstones from heaven. The bastards confessed. Then nothing. And people are like, are they afraid of the FBI? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe. Because nothing. Nothing. And they mocked him. September of 23, I'm on Forest Grove Drive, sitting outside with a client. And a lady and guy walks by and said, some of the drug dealers they hired to help watch her, they don't even think this is funny. She do anything wrong? No. The drug dealers confessed. They photoshopped everything. Made fun of the FBI for falling for it. Are they going to do anything about it? We don't know. But none of this is funny. I asked her ex-husband if they ever said it was a medication error that made her sick before. And he said yes. And they did encourage them to sue those doctors for years. And he didn't say a word and let those people hurt her. None of this is funny. See, that's where who the hell would hurt somebody because some idiot called him a faker 15 years ago. The morbid mentality that you would hurt somebody for such a childish act as someone calling somebody a mean word. What the hell? And it was medical malpractice. It's everything before 2002, in between the surgeries from the endometriosis, the kidney surgeries, when my muscles locked up afterwards. Everything in between that is fraud, medical malpractice, and medication errors. They were ripping me off, getting kickbacks from the drug companies, and making me so sick they wanted to do brain surgery. And there was nothing wrong with my brain, causing heart attacks, seizures, thyroid adrenal gland shutdown, and massive body swelling. And even crystals were forming in my eyes. The eye doctor said he could see them. I was months from death. Like they said with investigators, there's no way those doctors didn't know they weren't killing her. And it took another doctor to tell on him. It makes you wonder if they didn't pay him off. Where Altman Family Physicians, those doctors are known for lying, falsely diagnosing people, ripping them off, draining their insurance company like a checking account, getting kickbacks from the drug companies, sharing with associates and friends were known for doing the same thing. And then wanting to do unnecessary procedures, they told me I had level 2 brain tumors and needed my pituitary gland out. They encouraged me for 2 years to sue them, maybe 3. It's already where even yesterday, Some guy walked by. We looked up the case. It is documented fraud. In the case, documented fraud, medical malpractice, and medication errors. Altman Family Physicians documented as such. Those doctors were defrauding you. It's immoral and unethical what they did. There was nothing wrong with you but your muscles locked up. Dr. Eli agreed. He said, where you had all those surgeries over the few years, the nerve ends didn't get a chance to heal. And your muscles, because the nerve ends weren't healed in between the different places they cut, the muscles clenched. And they literally clenched and seized. And he said, the only way to get clenched muscles to relax is to move them. But you're in so much pain. And I would get in so much pain, the muscles would raise up like this under the skin, and you could see it. And blood would start running out of my stomach and my legs. The blood vessels would break under my skin. I got red freckles. And it would hurt so bad when those muscles would raise up. You talk about excruciating pain. As the blood would run down my legs and my stomach, and I vomit from pain. I have to get you out enough pain to move. Put me on fentanyl. Fentanyl is 100 times stronger than morphine. And muscle relaxers. First month, I lost 30 pounds. Second month, I was pulling myself around stores and malls. Got so much pain, ended up in the hospital. By the beginning of the third month, I could drive a car. Seizures, heart attacks stopped. Losing massive amount of body weight because it was all swollen. Had pneumonia several times. From October, November of 2002 to April of 2003, I'm almost well. Dr. Eli was mad I wasn't getting well faster because it was a medication to it, but I had that massive amount of swelling on me. Okay? I went from a 24 to a 16. May 3rd, 2003, that we're all at home. Brian Laney showed up, knocked on the door, told us about, well, we knew there was a church baseball game, but we kept everybody at home because we had to work on the house. That Phil was one of the lead cars going to that baseball game. He blew right through a stop sign into a semi, killing him and Tyler both. That Tyler was ejected through the air and slammed on the pavement, instantly dead, and Phil got ripped into pieces. I did speed ratios. He's doing between 60 and 100 with his grandkid in the car. That's why it was such an explosion. Okay? If he would have lived, he would have been in jail for that kid's murder. It's vehicular homicide. All right, come June, I got my fentanyl patches redone. In July, I finished getting them well. I still fell for several months. I lose balance and teeter over. Humiliating trying to learn to walk on numb feet. I would try it, and I would fall, and I'd try and fall. It took me months to learn balance. Come November of 2003, my sister Linda is married to strangest kid Tim. She had been out a year before that and caught him out with Katie, another woman. And when he'd go to leave, she'd follow him. And she got caught in November of 2003, and she came up to me. I was following again. I got caught. I think they thought it was you. I'm sorry. Be careful. And Strange made that up by Sunday. It's Strange's lie. Okay? It's, Strange's lie. He pushed Danny to suicide. I found out he planned my death. September 18th, 24, up on Forest Grove Drive, 8:30 in the morning. I pull in, and there's an investigator to my client's next door neighbor, and said, I don't want you to say anything. That agent needs to get his facts straight before he puts his name on it. It was a medication error that made her sick before. Why'd they wait 15 years? Well, when Strange thought she was following Tim and Katie, he ordered her to be killed. And nobody was to say or do a thing until Dave wanted a divorce. And they were to at least make sure she was destroyed and had nothing. And it took Dave 15 years to say it. They would have killed me in '03, but I took Danny to the social workers, and they called Dave, and the social workers threatened him that they would put them in jail themselves if they tried another thing with me or Danny. That's the only reason why I didn't die in '03. They waited till they didn't think anybody do anything about it. This was planned for 15 years. All because Linda was following Tim and Katie. Okay? Now, I want you to think, the guy in my old apartment, he's been telling people since March 30th that he was in the office where the FBI called those people dumb. I was in there when they called him, where that church is sending out emails asking people to help harm her. Other religious groups and other people show up to harm her. Or to show up and harass her, make sure she has nothing. Our religious group was there from the beginning. His religious group is so ungodly and so godless they hurt people. He don't even realize what he's saying. We showed up to help. So you're some kind of crazed occult that hurts people. Because a godly person, a good person, would have called the cops. See an email like that. Call the FBI. Some crazy church is trying to kill someone. But no, he helps out. We were there since the beginning, so he knew it was a Florida drug cartel. He knew they were drug beating, raping me. I already figured he's probably one of my rapists. He looks at me, he stares at me, he makes faces at me like this. He thinks he's funny. He thinks he's funny. And he thinks the FBI is a bunch of dumbasses. And he thinks about the cops, that they're a bunch of doofuses, that they fall for a drug scam from the drug cartel. And he thinks he has to involve himself in a drug scam from the drug cartel, that he can go in there and fool the FBI. He thinks he can fool everybody. He's out there with the neighbors screaming, I was out there, I was in that office when they went in with that agent. And we were there from the beginning. So he knew it was a scam. He knew it. He knew personally it was a Florida drug cartel. He knew they had drugged me and told me to say it before. He knew they photoshopped that shower scene in the other room. He knew that. He was part of the whole fraud scheme. He said, I was in that office with that agent. And when he asked her about that doctor, she said she didn't even know who he was. Well, I thought it was other lady using my insurance. It's documented by the police and the FBI. Well, now it was Dave's girlfriend from before me, and then my marriage was a scam. I knew some other lady had been using my insurance, running up all kinds of bills, and half my medical records are hers. I thought it was one of hers. Here, no, it's just a big lie and a big scam. And when he asked her of that doctor, and she said she didn't know who he was, he knew she was lying. I wasn't the one lying. That doctor had her tape saying blah, 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 and it's filthy. I used to run to the bathroom and vomit to find out the drug cartel played with me that bad. Vomit. And he turned her back over to us and said he didn't care what happened to her. Liar. It is illegal to withhold protection. Is he going to say that you can go shoot up a school and kill a bunch of kids too? That it's illegal to human traffic somebody, drug beat and rape them? Try to kill them? FBI gave you special permission to do crimes? Did he tell you could blow up an airplane too? Did he tell you could rob an airplane, rob a bank? Steal cars? Sell and kill women and children? You can sell child pornography of my grandkids going potty, that's legal. An FBI agent gave you permission to do all kinds of crimes? You have special permission. There's no such thing. You're a liar. You're a liar. He going to tell you can do all those other crimes too? Hmm? You got special Tinkerbell permission? I think you've been smoking on that crack pipe a little bit too much or some wacky tobacco. I don't know what kind of drugs are shooting up in your veins, but they're making you delusional. Just like Dixie telling Jen, Melissa said the group of people they hired, Melissa was part of hiring the Florida drug cartel, where the chief of police up there gives special permission. There's no such thing. To other people to break in other people's homes, breaking and entering is a crime. Watching someone unaware is voyeurism, is cyber stalking. It's a crime and a big one. Let's say 7 to 15 years. Without the drugs, beat, racketeering, child pornography of my grandkids going potty, human trafficking, rape, kidnapping, attempted murder. Put your name on it. Double dog dare you. Okay? Where the chief of police up there gives special permission to groups of people to break in other people's homes and do stuff up to them. He does not give special permission for the Florida drug cartel to go in and drug somebody up and run a drug scam on them. And beat and rape a poor victim, and the poor thing come out of it and not know what happened to her. And sell child pornography and Photoshop a shower scene. And no cop will back a drug scam from a drug cartel. You know, where people try to say, oh, this police department or this police department's back in the drug cartel, first and last name and department, and there's police abuse attorneys. I will own them. And the state will pull their badge and they will go to jail as an accessory because you're lying on the police. They're not going to. Because like the North Canton Jackson police, April 28th, 24, Kieran, we all know nobody drugs anybody but the drug cartel, and there was a drug cartel in your home before. No cop and no federal agent is going to back a drug cartel scam. Like Officer Mark said in August of 23, it's documented and verified she was framed before and it was a drug cartel in her home before. We've seen them. It's documented and verified it was a medication error that made her sick before, and it's documented and verified another woman was using her insurance. Okay? So that guy's running around town. He's trying to get me kicked out of my apartment. He's trying to get all the neighbors. He tells them, I don't want to worry about her being there. I've lived here for 6 years. 6 years. And he's trying to get people scared of me. I'm scared to death of him. He is part of breaking into people's homes, having them drugged for fake confessions, being raped, and selling child pornography. And he runs drug scans on them with a drug cartel. And has people impersonate people's doctors with fake drug confessions. And the FBI said it sounded mechanical. He runs drug scams on people. Human trafficking scams. I'm scared to death of him. He's probably one of my rapists. He rapes women. He's part of people raping people in their home under drugs. Trying to kill people and harming them. He's the one dangerous. It's like he's so fucking stupid he don't even realize what he's saying. Danny and Jen did not know about the shower scene. I went, like I said, over to Danny and Jen's on April 6, 25. Dixie walks about 7 feet from me and goes into the kitchen. She said nobody thinks it's funny she married that old man. Some lady investigator said she can extort money out of the government and out of that old man for me. And she can extort money out of the government for Melissa. The attempted extortion out of the government is 20 years. The attempted extortion out of an individual is 5. You can't even try. You go to jail. And Melissa said the group of people they hired to watch her, unaware where the chief of police up there gets special permission to people to break in the people's home and do stuff to them. No, you don't. You're lying on them. Like the Portage County Sheriff said, we didn't know about it, and what these people did is illegal. Some idiot yesterday said, oh, it was the police in her home. They don't have to have court orders. Yes, they do. Like Officer Reinhardt said, even the FBI would go to jail for being in your home outside that protective custody case with statements. He had to have statements of threat of life from everyone in that home and agree to protect you, or they to go to jail. It's called entrapment. Illegal monitoring is 20 years. It can be 7 to 15 years to 20. Without the human trafficking, rape, child pornography, and attempted murder, racketeering charges, cyber stalking, sextortion. Want to keep going? You guys got life in federal for putting your name on it. And back on April 6th, Jen's like, we want nothing to do with it. Now, the laws of monitoring. Doctors can never tape you unaware. It's HIPAA violation, Privacy Act. It's not admissible. They go to jail for it. Okay? They can never disclose they've seen you, what they've treated you for, nothing. Or they go to jail. HIPAA 1 to 5. $250,000 fine. You can sue them for $1 million. Okay? They, but they can't, if they know someone's being hurt, they have to give a small tip to the police of very vague. There may be a problem here. I need you to look into it. If they do not, they go to jail as an accessory, lose their license forever. And they go to jail. Like they said, they didn't realize putting a doctor's name on it, how illegal it would be. That idiot in my old apartment tells everybody he has my medical record. He could never get it. He'd go to jail for having it. Half of it's Dave's girlfriends from before mine, where she ran. Dave's like, some crazy lady stole your ID. She's doing identity fraud, Karen. If we don't pay those copays, I'll go to jail. We got stuck with $50,000 to $100,000 worth of copays over 15 years. She went Harry Carey. You didn't have to show ID. You just went in and filled it out. You didn't have your medical card. You called it in later. Never showed ID for nothing back then. They just took you at word who you were. Hospitals, treatments, surgeries, new doctors, never showed ID. That's how people used to get away with this shit. Okay. And I'll go back to April 6th. Jen's like, we want nothing to do with it. Some lady. Now, the law is also that if you don't do anything to anybody, you've not drugged them, you've not harmed them, you've not coerced them in any way, you sit and talk to them. Ohio is a one-party state. You can hit record on your phone. That is legal. But it's on a phone. You can never set up button cameras. That is cyber stalking. You can't watch them alone. You can't set up listening devices. Nixon couldn't bug an office. He got impeached. He almost went to jail. And he was president. Okay? But you can hit record on your phone if you're just sitting there calmly talking. You know what I mean? As long as you're just sitting there talking to somebody, you can hit record on your phone. That is legal. Okay? That's it. Just steering the conversation. That is legal. Well, where I gave her permission, where she has no anything to say, I gave her permission to tape me of knowing of Melissa's mean games of pretend and Dave breaking off the gunshot night. And even though I gave her permission to tape me before and tape me then of knowing of this, that lady investigator told her she could extort all that old man's money, and when he dies, I'll get it all. And she'll extort all kinds of government money for me. And Jen's like, I want nothing to do with it. Said, well, she said she can extort all kinds of government money for Melissa. They're a bunch of dumbasses. Jen's like, we want nothing to do with it. Some lady showed up and said, asked me if we knew of the tapes before. And I told her we weren't part of it. And they asked me if I knew of a tape of Weird With Yourself. I told her we knew nothing. And we weren't part of it, nor would we have anything to do with it. And I told her she had giant bruises all over her. Well, that don't mean anything. She said, yes, it does. I seen them. And I understand with what she was saying, what was going on up there. Well, I told her about Mike on the end apartment had got roofied years ago. Came up to me, didn't know how he got home, didn't know how he got money in his pocket, didn't know how he had what was in the box with mustard, how he changed his shoes. Then he tried to tell me he was a New York cop and thought I was pretty. I'm like, go sleep that off. He's stoned out of his mind. Found out during a second beer in a bar, he started telling people he was an astronaut. He was stoned. And he lost the whole night. Okay? And I told him about the U.S. Marshals kid taking a drink out of a drink at Jersey's bar. The room went dizzy and black. She don't know what happened to her. Another night, she went to another bar. It happened again, and she ended up in the hospital. Didn't know how she got there. She moved out of this area for safety. I told him about my co-worker, Dar, taking a drink out of the bar. She don't remember anything else. A group of people or friends said came up and started talking to her. Said she was talking, acting fine, and left with them. And Danny's like, it doesn't matter how you're talking, acting. We all know you're sleepwalking. How could her friends let her leave with him? I said, she found herself in a puddle pee. She got home, she was really messed up, and she's raising somebody else's kid. She found out she was pregnant 2 months later. She said, he looked at me, he said, that's why you go to a bar with friends. Because nobody will let you go with anybody else. Because those date rape drugs are sleepwalking. We all know you are, and you don't remember anything. She don't even remember meeting him. She took one drink and everything was gone. They said she acted a little happy. See, that's where my friend from the prosecutor's office, criminal attorney and police, we all know about those date rape drugs. You're sleepwalking under someone else's control. The Florida drug cartel called them mind-controlling drugs, and they could control anybody for 4 to 6 hours. Okay? And there's over 10 to 20 prescription drugs will make you sleepwalk on Google. Prescription at high doses without the legal ones. They in August or September of 19, I went up to Ohio Catholic Church. Let me fix this. Ohio Catholic Bank. And I started working there. Had to have a drug test. Go upstairs. The manager's complaining. She had enough drugs in her system to knock out a horse. She had Valium mixed with all these other drugs. And he's labeled. Valium alone in a high dose will make you sleepwalk. And they said no one's allowed to say a word to her. She's helping the FBI with a case. See, I went down to Carrollton. And the original riffraff where that idiot even bricked it was one of his religious groups. They're fake law enforcement. Walked into my new husband's attorney's office. Officer Mark or John or whatever sheriff, Starr County Sheriff's listening to me. You need to get a hold of Carl's attorney. And they've been trying to pull the dirty doctor scam. They tried to pull the scam of Melissa down there, and people called the police, and she's a documented in game of pretend. Even the Starr County Sheriffs were laughing at a guy named Kurt in 21 for just finding out those kids were lying. They were taped in a legally bugged house, and they made everything up. They were games of pretend. And they wanted the house for Auntie Shaw and Papa. January 12th, 22, Officer John stopped goons at the door of Walgreens North Main while those kids got custody. They made everything up. Flora ratted them out. They were games of pretend, October 19th, 23. Oh, I take that back. I think it's October 23rd, 2019. Yeah, October 23rd, 2019. BB's first party. Ratting them out. Of course it never happened. Of course it wasn't true. We made it up. They were games of pretend. Laughing. Chuckling. They're documenting games that pretend. That's how the police put them. The police called Melissa stupid in Walmart 62, where I called the FBI, and these people are so dumb. They thought the FBI left. They never went anywhere. Ever went anywhere. The police and the FBI and the U.S. Marshals have been working the case. And they left me in hell. Under police surveillance with those drug cartels, not only harming me, by confessing who they worked for and what crime they were doing. And they had to follow them back. They got thousands. And they saved hundreds. Okay? They didn't go anywhere. They called Melissa stupid for making stuff up in front of them. The FBI had a huddle with the police right after Thanksgiving 18 while the kids making that shit up. Oh, they're just trying to scare her out of the house. We interviewed her whole family. They spoke highly of her. October 5th, 21, Huntington Bank. They were talking about Melissa's lies again. I go to leave with a client. Said, who's that crazy Melissa? Everywhere we go, all they talk about is that girl lying. They screamed about Melissa's lies on the streets of Louisville and on the streets of Canton. They talked about that girl lying because they sold a login in Pennsylvania, Kentucky, and Illinois in 21. They talked last year in Alliance of that girl lying. Even this last year, I was in Alliance. They released the tape of Thanksgiving of 18 where those kids said they made everything up. They were games of pretend. And they had wanted the house for Auntie Shell and Papa. And then they have John upstairs. When I ask him what's going on, he's like, I don't know, Mom. He said, I told Melissa you're going to be moving out, going through a divorce. She's going to have the kids make up something, but don't worry about it. Nobody can say anything bad about you. She'll have her church people make up something too, but don't worry about it. No one can say anything bad about you. It'll just be made up because you're going to be moving out and going through a divorce. You shouldn't have said anything until it happened. Well, I did, and since nobody can say anything bad about you, don't worry about it. Police and FBI taped him. I called Dave. I said, I've never heard anybody. He's like, Karen, you're good to the kids. You're good to the grandkids. You'd never hurt anyone. You're good to everyone, no matter who it is. Danny and Jen taped me. Danny and Jen defended me. And the police taped them, defending me. My phone's bugged. The police and the FBI taped them, defending me. And Joshy defended me. Mel's kids are documenting me in games of pretend, and the rest of my grandkids defended me. John defended me, and Melissa got caught, friends with Michelle, and telling the kids to lie. It's that bad, because I called the FBI. Police and feds were everywhere. They caught Melissa telling the kids to lie. And the kids staying in a legally bugged house during an FBI case, they made everything up. They were games of pretend. They wanted the house for Auntie Shaw and Papa. The police and the FBI have both announced they caught those kids saying they made everything up. Okay, I was found innocent of everything in 18. It's that stupid. So that guy in my apartment where that dirty drug confession, he can't shut his mouth. Oh, and he tries to pull a fast one. Oh, I got her medical records. You know, I was talking to my friend Sandy yesterday. I was at a nursing home visiting her. And she's like, I said, he tells people he has my medical records. She's like, yeah, right, he does. He'd go to jail for having them. Exactly. And the person giving it to him, she's like, you know, doctors and hospitals are big on HIPAA and Privacy Act. They won't even admit what they've seen you for because you can put them, they'll go to jail and you can sue them. I said, I know that. They can't even admit what they treated you for. So where would they get their information? See, that's where I thought it was one of Dave's the lady that used my insurance, one of Dave's girlfriends from before me, thought maybe it was one of her doctors. And then where people were like, you were found insane before. Insanity and mental illness is not curable. Your brain's damaged. It's right on Google. You say that about somebody and the person is fine, you will go to jail for fraud. Hmm? And for you to be found insane, you have to stay in a state hospital. Be treated in a state hospital. They get a hold of the court system. You have to have a competency hearing. It takes a judge. A judge. Okay? And the judge, you have a right to your attorney. You have a right to your own doctor. You have a right to dispute it. We live in the U.S. A judge orders you incompetent or insane. They give you a guardian, a social worker, and you're placed on disability. It's not curable. Your brain's damaged. Mental illness is not curable. You have to have ongoing medication treatment because your brain is damaged. And you can't hardly function because your brain is damaged. If you say that about somebody and they're fine, it's automatic fraud and you can sue that person. See, that's where I don't care if Dave's girlfriend went in and acted like a chicken and clucked. She still never stayed in a state hospital. It takes a state hospital. I had a client come in here from out of state. He had an episode. They took him to the hospital. Was going to observe him for a few days. Make sure he didn't take drugs like LSD. And he's not hallucinating. Make sure he didn't hit his head. He's not having something else like high sugar or something else that's causing him to act crazy. No, it was a mental episode. They moved him to a state hospital. He was there for a month, 3 or 4 weeks. Was released into a court system that he had to go in front of a judge. He was found incompetent. Okay? Or insane. I'm not for sure. But he's got a mental illness. Okay? They ordered him a guardian. I don't know if he has a guardian. I know he has a social worker. He's on disability. He is a ward of the courts now. I take care of people like this. I know what it takes. It takes a judge in a court hearing. You can't, where they laugh at me. We paid off a dirty doctor before to write that up. It's called fraud. The person is fine, and you're saying they have something that's not curable. It's fraud. I'd own them. Own them. First and last name. Half my medical records are Dave's girlfriend from before me. Where within 9 months of our marriage, a heavyset white woman was showing up at the factory. I told Pete to get proof of her. He told me everybody was lying, but then if someone started using my insurance, ran up all kinds of medical bills. Half my medical bills are hers. I found out it was her. Where Dave said everybody was lying on me. Somebody had my identity, committing identity fraud. I'd never cheat on you, Karen. Yes, he did. He was scamming me the whole time. Him and that girl. They would have killed me in 2003 if I wouldn't have took Danny to the social workers. And they threatened Dave for pushing Danny to suicide. They backed way off and just waited till the opportune moment again. Now, when they thought I was following Tim and Katie. Now, do I think it's funny when I go into Carrollton and I see drug cartel down there? People part of the scam run around telling everybody they are Stark County sheriffs. Backing the dirty doctor scam. Where Officer Mark already documented it, that I was framed before and it was a drug cartel. Do I think it's funny when I'm down in this area in Stark County, they try to tell people they're the Portage County sheriffs? Bad mouthing me. or the Massillon Police. First and last name, what department they work for. I will turn them into the Secretary of State and the Ohio Attorney General. They will not only not have a badge anymore, they'll be in jail. And then there's police abuse attorneys. The police do not run around bad-mouthing you. You know why? They go to jail. And they're not going to back a drug cartel stunt. And they're not going to back some idiots thinking they can pull a fast one on the police and the FBI. They're not Barney Fives, and they don't keep their bullet in their pocket. And they're not a bunch of country bumpkins that they can't tell that something's been digitally altered. And these people already laughed at everybody and the FBI. But they need to go, Stark County Sheriff, whoever's assigned to me for carrying around the house, they need to call the Carroll County Sheriffs. They need, even at Virginia's restaurants, some of the waitresses were talking about Stark County Sheriffs in plain clothes down there bad-mouthing me, making fun of me. They're not going to show up on their own time to make fun of me. They would lose their badge. And they wouldn't interfere in an FBI case. Like an investigator said, when the case first started, it was of the churches taking up money to hire men to kill her. And they were already having people drug, beat, and rape her. And the guy that watches her said they tried to kill her several times in the beginning of the case. It's a drug scam from the drug cartel. And they're framing law enforcement. And they're framing the Massillon police running around back in the shower scene in the other room. That was already debunked years ago. And like they said, they always knew it was photoshopped. And they always knew, they drugged me and told me to say it before. And the FBI calls it mechanical. And they knew that doctor was not one of mine. Like the investigators who worked my case, we all know none of Karen's doctors could have went in and talked to Will. Wondering what these people were up to. They're trying to pull a fast one. They thought everybody was stupid in this area. I'm going to upload this.